11, former Clay County Sheriff Daryl Daniels files paperwork to run for sheriff again after he was found not guilty in a 2019 sex scandal. A principal resigns after a controversial student assembly targets black students. How parents are responding. A cheer coach charged with stealing thousands of dollars from the nonprofit she helped create. Our Taylor Levesque is following the paper trail. Plus, the timeline revealed for when the investigation into this 2021 deadly South Florida condo collapse will be complete. First Coast News at 11 starts right now. Good evening, and thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Heather Crawford. Anthony Austin has the evening off. Tonight, Daryl Daniels is running for Clay County Sheriff again. Daniels was elected sheriff back in 2016 and served until 2020 when he was removed by Governor Ron DeSantis after Daniels' arrest and public scandal over an affair. On your sides, Andrew Badillo is live tonight in the newsroom. So, Andrew, how are people in Clay County reacting to this news?
Heather, I spent the evening in Clay County talking with some people. One man told me off camera he was happy to hear Daniels was running again, saying he did a good job. Another woman said she'll listen to his policies, but added current Sheriff Michelle Cook has done a good job. In 2022, Daniels was acquitted after he was charged with destroying evidence and giving false statements to police. Prosecutors said Daniels ordered deputies to wrongfully arrest his mistress for stalking and destroying evidence related to the case. A jury found him not guilty, setting up Daniels to currently face off against two others, including current Sheriff Michelle Cook, who replaced him in 2020. A Clay County neighbor I spoke with will be listening to the candidates closely before making her decision.
I am always open and I listen to who the candidates are, what they stand for, what their plans are versus on party or whatever. I prefer to go with the person. That's another reason I think it's important that they mingle in with the community, that you get to know them as a person if you can.
Now, we reached out to the Clay County Sheriff's Office for comment from Sheriff Cook and are waiting for a response. We also tried reaching out to Daryl Daniels and his attorney who represented him in 2022, but have not heard back. The third declared candidate is Republican Matthew O'Berry. He and Cook are running as Republicans. Daniels is not affiliated with a particular party. The election is in November 2024. In the newsroom, Andrew Badillo, First Coast News on your side.
Andrew, thank you. All right, let's talk about the tropics. Developing news at 11. Hurricane Lee, now a beast of a storm. It is now a Category 5. Meteorologist Lou Turner joins us now with the latest on the 11 p.m. advisory that just came out. Lou?
Yeah, Heather, just in 160-mile-per-hour sustained winds within this eye wall. And I'm just going to let this loop play out for a minute. As you see the Windward Islands just on the edge of your screen there. Look at that buzzsaw of an eye at the very end of the loop. This thing is getting its act together. Very unusual to see such a powerful hurricane this far still east in the Atlantic Basin. So far out. Now behind it we've got Margot. Margot we'll discuss in a minute. But in the meantime, Lee is a beast of a storm. 160-mile-an-hour winds is the 11 o'clock update. Still moving west-northwest at 14. And we got within the eye wall, we've got gusts near 200 miles per hour with this thing. Now our current cone, anytime you see the 5 on there, my gracious, it opens your eyes. It has this going back and forth between a 5 and a 4. Weakening and strengthening will happen back and forth with eye wall replacements. You'll notice your cone of concern still watching and waiting anxiously for that turn north to happen. Now, notice our computer model forecasts the ensembles here with our spaghetti models, and this looking out 7 to 10 days, still seeing a confident model runs that this will make its turn more towards the north. So this model in particular showing a beastly Lee with the front interaction. So this front that's on its way is our friend. We need this front to help squeeze this storm and push it more toward the north. Back by next Friday, we're talking about this thing being a beam of New England. So big storm, got a lot to talk about with it as well, a lot to think about. We'll get back with the local impacts coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Lou. We have new details tonight in the death of a 2-year-old girl found in a car in the parking lot of a Jacksonville Beach church on Tuesday. Today, the Florida Department of Children and Families says her father left her in the car outside of the daycare she attended. Jacksonville Beach Police were called to the Bethlehem Lutheran Church and Preschool Tuesday afternoon. Investigators tell us that the death was heat-related. Jacksonville Beach Police are investigating. Tomorrow, Florida Supreme Court will hear arguments over the state's 15-week abortion ban. That bill was signed into law last year, but this year, lawmakers reduced the ban to 6 weeks. That law has been on hold since the 15-week ban made its way through the courts. The 6-week ban would take effect only if the state's 15-week ban is upheld. A Clay County cheerleading coach is facing grand theft charges, accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the nonprofit she was in charge of running. A warrant obtained by the Clay County Sheriff's Office says Amanda Herndon used money from Crush cheerleading account for personal reasons. Taylor Levesque is on your side, taking a look into how parents found out that their money was being spent. Taylor?
And a parent tells me she's upset she lost thousands of dollars she likely won't see again and wants the coach held responsible.
I can confidently say that all of our families spent thousands on each cheer competition, or like each cheer season.
For 2 years, cheer mom Clarissa Matthew had 2 daughters on Crush cheerleading teams in Clay County. She says her family had a great experience with the program until recently.
We just started noticing she was spending a lot of money on things. A lot of money on her personal appearance.
An arrest warrant obtained from the Clay County Sheriff's Office says the president and coach of Crush cheerleading, Amanda Herndon, was arrested on September 2nd for grand theft of $20,000 or more. The warrant says Herndon knowingly used money from the Crush cheerleading bank account for her own use. The report says Herndon was the only one who had access to the money. Police say the cheer group was funded by the members' parents, and the money was supposed to be used for uniforms, cheer equipment, gym rental and competitions, hotel fees, and private training classes.
Looking back, there were definitely red flags. I wish that I would have questioned more. Like we all, pretty much whatever we were told we had to pay, we just paid it.
The report says the organization's vice president and secretary had suspicions Herndon was profiting from Crush cheerleading. They were able to gain access to the bank accounts, discovered several personal transactions that dated back to 2021, and took their findings to the Clay County Sheriff's Office.
I just want her to not be able to do anything like this ever again. Like I don't think that she should be able to own a business again, and I don't think she should be able to run a program or sit on a board.
Matthew says the cheer season is ongoing. She's already paid thousands of dollars. She says after the news broke, the organization's co-directors disbanded Crush Cheer and created their own programs so that the season can continue. We reached out to Herndon but did not hear back. In the studio, Taylor Levesque, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Taylor. A St. Johns County boy has died in a bicycle accident, according to a letter from his elementary school principal in the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office says this is an active investigation and there are no signs that the death was the result of a crime. It happened yesterday afternoon in the child's neighborhood. We are not naming the boy. In the letter, PVPV Rawlings Elementary said that the death has hit the school, quote, like a nuclear blast to our soul. A teddy bear sits outside the school with a note of support for the child's family. The school will have counselors available for students. Now to Flagler County, where the principal of an elementary school handed in her resignation after a school assembly that some considered racist. The Bunnell Elementary School principal, Donnell Evanson, submitted her resignation according to the Flagler County School District. This comes after an assembly last month in which only black students were pulled from class to attend. During that assembly, low test scores were discussed, and parents told us that their children were told that they could end up in jail or killed if they weren't successful. Tonight, we're hearing mixed reaction about the resignation from parents.
I think that Donnell was an asset to Bunnell Elementary. I think she was put in between a rock and a hard place, and I don't think she felt supported. I think that she made a call. She empowered her teachers to make a decision.
I think it was a very good move for her. This allows parents to feel a little more at ease knowing that she is no longer there, putting children in situations where they feel singled out.
The superintendent asked a former principal of Bunnell Elementary to return to the school on an interim role. Meanwhile, the district is continuing to investigate, and another teacher is suspended and placed on administrative leave. Newly released phone calls and text messages are shedding light on the criminal case against a former Duval County school teacher charged with lewd and lascivious behavior with a student. Police arrested Department Chair Jeffrey Clayton on the Douglas Anderson School of Arts campus back in March. The state attorney's office releasing messages between Clayton and the student in which he calls her intoxicating and reminds her to delete their text thread. In an interview with detectives, the teen accused Clayton of kissing her and caressing her body. Clayton appears to find out about the charges against him while in jail on the phone with his wife. Listen to this.
You've been charged with 2 felony counts.
Of what?
Lewd and lascivious behavior with a student and improper use of a two-way device.
Wow.
And apparently they seized your phone, and there's more than 1,000 text messages to this student.
How do you, they showed you that?
Yes.
Clayton's wife questions the legitimacy of his story in a later conversation, suggesting that she's had to defend him against similar accusations before. His next court date is on September the 19th. Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters says 45 guns were taken from a Woodstock area home, announcing the arrest of 2 men today. 22-year-old Jakari O'Neill and 29-year-old Dakari Robertson were arrested in connection with this investigation. The sheriff says 10 firearms were stolen locally. 2 guns were stolen out of state, including one from a state trooper in Missouri. Investigators say they also found crystal meth, marijuana, and scales in the home. Well, we want to say a big congratulations tonight to my dear friend and colleague Keitha Nelson, co-anchor of Good Morning Jacksonville. Keitha was honored with a Ken Knight Award tonight in Jacksonville, and it's a celebration recognizing members of the African American media who not only excel in their field, but also in their communities where they have a tremendous impact. Keitha started a series here at First Coast News called Change Makers, interviewing those who have made an impact on the First Coast, and she spoke about that tonight.
I've had the privilege of interviewing history makers such as Dr. Jonetta Cole, Alton Yates most recently, Nat Glover. I mean, these are people that are true change makers. And I'm going to tell you the feeling I get after walking away from these interviews. I feel inspired. And to me, that's a part of our job as journalists. I see a lot of journalists in here tonight, so I'm going to speak to you guys. I feel that's a part of our job, to educate, inspire, and uplift.
So the awards are named after Ken Knight, who started the first African-American TV show in Jacksonville. Congratulations to our Keitha Nelson and all the other honorees. We're so proud of you, Keitha.